Welcome to Grandstand Court. We are set for a Group B matchup between DC Pickleball Team and the Dallas Pickleball Club. Dorian Kraft alongside Pickleball Pro Brendan Entikpong. Brendan, we've seen some fantastic matches on this court here today. This one going to be another one. What's going to be the difference that you are looking for between DC and Dallas tonight?
Man, there are a lot of them. Let's start with the fact that the Dallas Pickleball Club here, they've got Elise Jones and Callie Jo Smith, who are very decorated players. They've played a lot together. They reside in the same area there in Utah. And they'll be taking on a duo that we call the Kawamotos.
Right, they're one person.
I mean, they are one. I would just say they're one entity.
I like. Okay.
The way that they play, I mean, is just consistent. They don't give a lot of things to any team. They did take down Annalie Waters and her partner this morning, and so I feel like they're going to be playing pretty well.
Actually, Annalie Waters and AJ Kohler came back to win that mixed doubles match. Now, the Utah Black Diamonds did. Yeah, the women's, you are correct. You are right. You're right. I stand corrected. This is why you're here. You need to check me. I appreciate that.
We're just here to talk it out, and I'm fine with that.
It's been a long day. It's been a long day, but this is a perfect way to close out day 2 of season 2 of the MLP presented by Margaritaville. We are underway here in this women's doubles match. Dallas won the toss. They are reacting to mixed doubles. First point goes the way of the Kawamotos.
Yeah, I think the challenge here for Elise Jones and Callie Smith will be to find the opportunities, but don't overcommit. This is, again, a solid team in the Kawamotos.
Smith tries for the speed up, catches the tape.
And the other thing is they typically don't give leads up. So if the Kawamotos get up by a lot of points, it's hard to generate offense against them.
Kawamoto right there for the ATP defense. Let's introduce you to the players real quick before we get any further. For DC, it is Jade and Jackie Kawamoto. For Dallas, it is going to be Callie Smith and Elise Jones. And that is Jones going for the speed up but sending it long.
Yeah, and listen, I would get Jade and Jackie mixed up, but one trick that I learned is Jade has 4 letters in it.
Okay.
Left has 4 letters in it, and she's a lefty.
All right. Look at you. Oh, Smith coming through the scorpion right there.
I mean, to be the dexterity to be able to get as low as she did to hit that ball with scorpion is just incredible play by her.
And the quickness that she got down, man.
Yeah.
And then sends the serve long as the Kawamotos get back on serve here. DC out to the quick 5-1 lead. DC coming in 1-0. They beat Utah. Dallas, meanwhile, 0-1. Lost to the Chicago Slice. And that time, Jackie coming up short on the backhand.
And that's got to feel good for Smith and Jones to be able to win in a long dink rally, something that the Kawamotos are notoriously great at.
Oh, the hands by Jade going right into the hip of Jones.
Yeah, she worked her way close to the kitchen line, methodically, able to win that point.
Jackie going for the speed up, can't bring it back down into the court.
Yeah, Smith left a high ball there. Jackie wanted to convert, but it's tough when you have the defense of Jones right in front of you.
into the net. Couple of net cords in that point. That's tough to hang with.
It really is, and it tests the focus of each player when that happens to try not to do too much.
Great speed up there is Jackie with the counter.
Yeah, it was just great for her to be able to finish that point. Listen, I like what I'm seeing from Dallas Pickleball Club right now, though. They are here for a fight. I didn't say it was going to be an easy fight. Listen, Jade Kawamoto sliding to her left with that forehand, and we didn't even talk about the lefty-righty combo.
Right.
Poses challenges in itself.
Smith reaches in, pushes it long as it is a 9-4 advantage for the Kawamotos.
Good timeout here by Dallas Pickleball Club, if that's in fact what they're doing, or maybe just
going to the
conferring with their team. Maybe a half timeout, a mini timeout?
I don't think there's such a thing as a mini timeout.
It's a towel out.
A towel out. The temperature has gotten warmer here over the last 20 minutes or so in Atlanta, Georgia, as we close out day 2. Smith calling it out. It is 79 degrees, humidity just around 46%.
That looked to be a beautiful counter there from Jade, but just a little too long on that one.
Oh, Smith coming across. But if you're the Kawamotos, you have to be thinking, how many balls do I have to hit to end this point?
Dorian, I was just going to say, like, what does it take to win a point out here? You said it was 90% humidity. Let's get this thing rolling.
Oh, my. And Dallas finally able to get a point, but on the flip side of how many balls does DC feel like they have to try and put away, Dallas has to be thinking, how much defense do I have to scramble to just stay in the point?
Absolutely.
Smith going for the speed up, puts it in the tape. That sends us to the end change as DC is up 11-6 early on. A couple of better balls, though, for Dallas after that timeout to get a little bit closer. Brandon, what does Dallas need to do? You said you liked what you were seeing. It is going to be tough for them because of the solid, steady play of the Kawamotos, but how can Dallas get back into this game?
Yeah, I think we saw a little bit of it earlier where they were playing incredible defense. They were scrambling everywhere. They've got to commit that we may have to hit 10 to 15 balls to win each individual rally. If they start getting a little anxious, if they take opportunities when they're not necessarily there, the Kawamoto sisters will make you pay, and so that's what they have to refrain from doing. I thought they did a fairly good job of managing that through the second half. But we'll have to see after this changeover, because I mentioned earlier the Kawamotos, whenever they get a lead, it's not something they typically give up.
Kawamotos took down Annalie Waters, her partner Irina Tereshchenko, earlier today. Meanwhile, for Callie Smith and Elise Jones, they dropped their women's doubles match. That was 24-22 to Jessie Irvine and Lacey Schneeman. So nothing to be really that upset about in terms of that competitive level. It's been a couple of close matches for both of these teams. And just long.
That's one of the more difficult skills to learn in pickleball, is to let a ball go out, especially one that you can just hit.
Oh, beautiful placement right through the middle. That's a tough ball moving backwards on the lob. Are you kidding?
Yeah, to move backwards and hit that ball with the forehand down inside the kitchen, well done.
Into the hip of Jackie as Dallas able to earn the side out. Smith pulls the trigger, ends up. Dallas gets the point.
Yeah, she's got her new Onyx paddle with a lot of pop and grit on it as well. And you can see that ball flying off of her paddle. Great job from Smith.
That's the Onyx Evoque Premier CT16. And good effort from Smith, but the Kawamoto is playing controlled, smart pickleball, which, as you mentioned, is their brand.
Yeah, and Jackie with a couple great overheads and then a drop shot angled away from Callie Smith.
And Smith stepping in to speed it up again. We've seen her miss that ball a couple of times in this game.
And that's the one, as we see a timeout here from Dallas Pickleball Club, that is the exact shot and decision-making that I think they want to stay away from in this matchup. Wasn't a bad choice for Callie to think about speeding that ball up, but has to understand what really is the ROI. If I make this ball, they're probably just going to reset it. It's not going to put them out of position. So maybe I just let this bounce, allow them to get to the kitchen line, and then wait for a better opportunity. That's how slim the margin is in a game like this.
Dallas's decision-making, is that because of the clean brand of pickleball that the Kawamotos are playing, or are they just trying to find what's working in a game that hasn't really gone their way?
I mean, it's some of both, but I'll say there's usually this invisible line of pressure. So if you can imagine just straight up from the net, and it pushes either one way or the other. Right now, that invisible pressure is pushing towards Elise Jones and Callie Smith. And the reason that's happening is because the Kawamotos are playing so clean. And so it seems like there's no avenues to hit the ball.
Kawamoto is both 27 years old, played their collegiate tennis together at Dayton for the Flyers. That one sails long, and so that's something that Dallas needs as well. Yes, you have to score points inside out, but they need a couple of unforced errors too.
Better decision there from Smith. Didn't try to do too much with that ball, forced the error.
And Jones, those margins, because those margins are so slim, Jones there going for too much on the cut.
Yeah, and Kawamoto sisters have great footwork, so it seems as they're getting to every ball before you go there.
Another forehand sent long. And we can have this discussion in between matches as the men's get ready, but I feel like lost in the conversation between the racket speed and the decision-making, the footwork often doesn't get talked about enough, how quality and how good it has to be, especially at the kitchen line. Smith finally finds some space in the back of the court for the point.
They are structuring just better points here for Dallas Pickleball Club. They're patient, waiting for their opportunity, and when they see it, they're stomping on it.
And Smith coming up short. Is patience the way you have to beat a technically sound team like the Kawamotos?
Absolutely. In this type of format, in this type of game with these players, the only way that you can get an edge is to slowly chip away.
It's tough to chip away when there is just relentless pressure from the Kawamotos at the kitchen line.
Great play from Jackie Kawamoto there. And yeah, there was a time where in pro pickleball you could come in and steamroll a team. That time is not now.
Jade with the reach in, little roll, took a little bit something off that to get it to drop in.
Yeah, that is a high IQ play. You really have to look at the fact that she used misdirection and pace and spin on that ball.
18-12. Callie Smith rather, able to force the error.
Great firefight there. But I think both teams like that type of style.
Just a mishit from Jones. Maybe cut that a little bit off the hip.
Yeah, she's looking back, seeing if possibly that ball was long.
Jones misses with the forehand. That brings up game point for the Kawamotos, up 20-13.
Yeah, they have slowly widened the margin here and look to close it out.
Kawamotos take the women's doubles game 21-13 in what was a clinical performance.
That's a perfect way to put it. I mean, if you're learning pickleball, especially on the pro side, go ahead and copy a tape of what just happened and how the Kawamotos played. And that's a good way to kind of find your way in a situation like this. They played clean pickleball. They took opportunities when they were there, played smart and confident.
DC jumping out to the one-game lead over Dallas Pickleball Club, trying to stay perfect on their opening day of MLP play. Yesterday was all Challenger League, today all Premier League. 2 matches for the Premier teams today, 1 more tomorrow, then we get into the playoffs. So that all-important seeding points, we will play all 4 games in this match for all the points. And we are going to have another good one coming up here. It's going to be Riley Newman and Christian Alshon, another one of those 6 players that was able to make the jump from Challenger to Premier this year. They're going up against James Ignatowicz and Jay DeVilliers.
Yep, we will see some fireworks here. We talked about good, consistent, slow, methodical play in the women's matchup. I don't believe we'll see a lot of that here with the type of players we have. Riley Newman is a player that loves to take as many opportunities as possible. Even when they're not there, he can create offense. You've got James Ignatowicz for Dallas Pickleball Club. You're going to see him split step at least 1,000 times in the first 5 points. He's going to get in position and find ways to impose his will. He's one of the players that probably has the heaviest overhead and forehand out of the air. So we're going to see some crazy defense as well.
Ignatowicz coming from that strong tennis background, played 2 years at Vanderbilt before he said tennis got a little boring. It wasn't a challenge enough already, so he wanted to go over to pickleball, try something new. Has quickly made a name for himself on the MLP Tour. Jay DeVilliers, his partner, a little bit more established, 28 years old, also with that tennis background. Born in André-et-Loire, France. moved to Barcelona, trained at the Bruguero Academy. So when you're training at one of the top academies in Spain, you know you've got some talent.
Yeah, the fact that you just said that was intimidating. I've never heard of it, but that sounds like a prestigious academy to train at. Look, the other thing I heard a tidbit from a fan earlier, there are only 2 French players in MLP. Jay de Villiers is one of them. We saw one earlier in Stéphane Auverne.
That's right. Now, technically, Auverne was born in the States and moved to France as a toddler.
His
so that's a technicality.
You know, listen, I talked to his dad. He said he claimed, yeah,
that's true.
You're right.
We'll call that dual nationality.
Right, yeah. We'll ask for a birth certificate if he can bring one up.
Listen, I just want to talk to Stéphane about the fact that he was a Call of Duty national champion in France.
Insane.
There are so many players on this tour that have additional talents, not just related to racket sports. Like, it is crazy just the amount of talented people that have flocked to pickleball over the last couple of years.
Yeah, and you wonder, like, the conversations you can have on a pickleball court are almost endless. Is this a CEO? Is this somebody that works in normal corporate America as an employee? Is this someone that's a bus driver? You don't know, and it's super cool to have those conversations.
Well, what we do know is that we're going to get a fantastic men's doubles match here coming up in just a second as DC looks to add to their lead over Dallas Pickleball Club. Group B, tabbed as the group of death coming into this tournament. DC, Dallas, Chicago Slice, the Utah Black Diamonds, a really tough sledding in Group B. Already Ignatowicz coming through with the backhand winner.
The heat that he had on that backhand poke was pretty good. Jay de Villiers set him up nicely.
That time, Ignatowicz comes up short. This is a smart decision by Newman, though. Took a little bit off of that, just dead in the ball.
Yeah, sometimes it just throws the opponent off a little bit. And that return sails wide for de Villiers.
Newman looking to create there, but pushes it long.
Those are the type of shots and opportunities that we're going to see him take for the rest of this game.
Ignatowicz misses a forehand, and so both men's sides coming out a little hot to start.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. A few inches back there.
And de Villiers trying to avoid falling in the kitchen. Doesn't matter. Point for Dallas. Right into the body of Alshon goes de Villiers.
Yeah, he throws out his hand and says, sorry, that was a ferocious hit right into the midsection of Alshon.
At half Ernie. De Villiers stepping over, immediately apologizing to Ignatowicz. I love the hand up, like, I'm sorry, but also I'm like not really sorry because I won the point. And de Villiers looking for the speed up, getting too big.
Yeah, a couple errors there from him after that successful Ernie attempt.
Oh, Riley Newman right at Ignatowicz. And Ignatowicz just has a smile for him.
Yeah, Newman has something to say early. We knew he was going to take opportunities to speed up. Wow.
Tremendous defense by Alshon to even keep Dallas in the point.
What a get from Christian Alshon. Newman thought this point was over, got bailed out, and then ends up finishing it.
Forehand winner, Ignatowicz.
Yeah, Alshon called an earlier ball out. Newman played it and put him out of position for that last counter from Ignatowicz.
De Villiers calls it out, and it does indeed sail as back-to-back points gets DC within 3. De Villiers with some aggressive dinking, and Newman pulls up just a second too soon.
Yeah, the dynamic is interesting there. You've got a slice with backspin from De Villiers versus the topspin two-hand roll from Newman.
Newman forehand winner, point Dallas. You mentioned the backhand slice versus the topspin roll. It is player dependent, but which shot would typically have the advantage?
Yeah, I think the topspin roll typically would have the advantage because the topspin is making the ball go down, even if you hit it a little bit too deep, versus the backspin will carry and give your opponent an opportunity.
Ignanowicz pulls it wide, and Riley Newman's got something to say coming off the court. 3 for 3.
Yeah, and I suspect we will be saying that sentence multiple times, that Riley Newman has something to say. That is his MO. He is an emotional, fiery player. But back to the point about that topspin versus the backspin. While topspin can give you more opportunities because the ball is dipping, the ball can actually jump if it hits a hole on the ground. The challenge is that the actual shot is a little bit harder to hit than a slice. So you're going to see most people usually defer to a slice versus hitting the topspin. Riley Newman, one of the best in the game at a two-hand backhand topspin roll. Yeah, we've got the changeover here, 11-6 for DC.
DC on top, and fairly convincing fashion. What surprised you the most about the way that Dallas has come out here in this match?
I think they came out with the strategy of we want to hit them in the mouth, and then they realized that that part didn't work, and so now they're trying to find a different strategy. De Villiers is actually being targeted the most right now by the Dallas Pickleball Club.
On cue, another error off the paddle of De Villiers. Newman into the right hip. Another point for DC.
Yeah, and they're letting them know about it. That's 2 straight rallies where they targeted De Villiers. This last one ended in a bag right into his chest. So that's a timely. This makes sense to have a timeout here for Dallas Pickleball Club. Let's regroup. We didn't get anything going after the changeover.
What does the conversation have to be for Dallas if they want to change things moving forward?
Dallas came out strong. It seemed as if they slowly regressed later in this match. You're not seeing them take as many chances. They're not trying to be aggressive. And yeah, some of that makes sense with the firepower and the defense on the other side. But the fact of the matter is you're down 7, and you've got to show that fight. You've got to go out there. They've tagged De Villiers 2 or 3 times so far, tagged Ignatowicz. You got to show them that that's not acceptable and take the fight to them.
Coming back out, it is 13-6. DC on serve. As DC trying to make it a 2-win day. Newman sends it long.
And I like that play from Ignatowicz, speeding up off the bounce, taking his chances.
Forehand error off the paddle of Alshon.
Yeah, you can see it. And one thing we missed is that, yeah, De Villiers and Ignatowicz have switched sides here.
Now Newman still able to find de Villiers. It's a little surprising because Ignatowicz kind of brands himself as that right side specialist in men's.
Yeah, I think they're looking for someone to create offense at this moment.
ATP defense from Newman. Ignatowicz sends it long.
It's just beautiful defensive pickleball, heavy IQ-based pickleball from Riley Newman as he took out the do-it-yourself kit there.
Foot fault Ignatowicz, and things going from bad to worse quickly for Dallas.
Yeah, let's take a look here. He's trying to create things, make something happen.
That kitchen cam brought to you by Margaritaville. Alshon caught a little bit back behind the baseline.
And back to the switch. You want to put your best player in situations where they can help your team win and feature them more. And I think that's the decision for Dallas Pickleball Club.
And speed up Alshon. A couple of unforced errors off that forehand wing.
Yeah, Dallas Pickleball Club knows that in terms of offense and creating, Ignatowicz is their best bet. So what better way than to feature him on the left side?
Newman continuing to pound away at de Villiers.
Yeah, he's a player that's just relentless. Make or miss, he's going to give you everything he has each time. My gosh.
How did he get that back? Oh, the defensive play and then can't come up with the forehand.
Such a sick get by Alshon. Could not convert on that one, though, as DC only up 6 here.
Another miss off the paddle of Alshon and a couple of really good gets at the kitchen line by Dallas.
Some heavy lifting there from Newman, but couldn't come away with it. Dallas applied the pressure.
De Villiers, the ATP point Dallas.
Yeah, and Riley Newman has seen enough now. He wants a timeout as that forehand roll went a little wide from Alshon and gave Jay de Villiers one of his favorite shots, a shot that we've seen on SportsCenter Top 10 multiple times in ATP.
Well, de Villiers, that's got to feel good considering how Dallas has targeted him. And the switch has really been the difference maker for Dallas. Ever since Ignatowicz going to the left side, it has been a much more even matchup. The ability to create what has Ignatowicz created on the left side that's gotten Dallas back into this game.
Yeah, we talked about in a previous matchup or a previous game, there's that invisible line of pressure. And when Ignatowicz is on the left side, that invisible pressure is heavier for the DC Pickleball Club. When they were switched, de Villiers wasn't as much of a threat on that left side, and so it makes the other team a little bit more comfortable. They can get away with some things. Now that Ignatowicz is there, he's kind of sealed off that left side, and they're trying to find some opportunities in a small sliver.
So there's less space for DC to work.
Absolutely.
13-17, margin down to 4. Oh, speed up gets the unfriendly net cord bounce.
And that's a fine line that Ignatowicz is going to have to navigate. When to speed up there versus let the point play out.
Alshon pulls the trigger. Ignatowicz sends it long.
That's just smart play from Alshon, who I think is playing an incredible game here.
Ignatowicz, little quarter Ernie. Alshon can't handle it.
Yeah, it was an athletic jump for the Ernie. Alshon was on it, could not get that ball to land inside the court.
Newman finding the line, and now Dallas with game point. Or DC, excuse me.
That's a high-level ball that Newman just hit.
Alshon can't come up with the block. Dallas able to fight off one game point. That's another as Ignatowicz again goes at that left hip of Alshon.
Good pressure from Ignatowicz and also the correct pace. He hit both of those balls at about 50%.
ATP Alshon to get DC back on serve.
I mean, he baited de Villiers to string that ball out wide, and then he curls it behind Ignatowicz. What a play.
Game point number 2. Ignatowicz sends it long off the forehand side, and DC takes the men's doubles 21-16.
What a finish to that game as Newman and Alshon were at the baseline fending off heavy forehands from a guy with some of the biggest heavy overheads in the game, and they end up making their way back to the kitchen and get an error.
DC Pickleball Club takes a two-game lead. Teams will take a break, set their mixed doubles lineup. We will be back with the first of the 2 mixed doubles games right here on Grandstand Court. There's more MLP presented by Margaritaville ahead. Welcome back for the first of 2 mixed doubles matches here on Grandstand Court. Dallas Pickleball Club facing DC Pickleball Team. DC up 2-0 after taking both of the gender doubles matches. Alshon with the forehand error. It's going to be Christian Alshon and Jackie Kawamoto going up against Callie Smith and Jay DeVilliers.
Oh, DeVilliers coming all the way over there for that ball. And the threat of the Ernie from Alshon makes that one go a little bit wide.
Let's it go. Good decision as it's long as Dallas Pickleball Club gets back on serve. Kawamoto forehand winner, point DC. You cannot get better than that.
I mean, the resets from Christian Alshon and then this by Jade Kawamoto. I think that's Jackie Kawamoto.
It is.
Oh, my goodness.
Righty lefty.
Oh, my goodness.
It's okay.
Over under 1.
That time Kawamoto not able to come up with the defense. Notice I just said last name. You're covered that way.
That makes sense.
Into the hip of DeVilliers, goes into the net.
It's a really good shot by Alshon, and what he did was he paused right in the middle of that before attacking and picked the right spot.
Ernie from Smith sets up DeVilliers for the easy put away.
Man, and that type of shot used to be a winner, but you see the defense here from Alshon, even off the net. DeVilliers comes in and closes the deal.
Smith just a little too far back in the court to get that over the net.
Good pressure there from Alshon and also good shot selection.
4-all. Kawamoto pulls the trigger, another point for DC.
I mean, she called her own number there and started off a combo, then finished with the two-hand backhand. Well done.
Trying to cut it a little bit too fine.
Yeah, really trying to move Smith around, but Smith was ready for that, and she didn't have enough margin to play with.
DeVilliers cannot believe that ball caught the line.
I mean, the trajectory and height of that ball was screaming it was out, but then all of a sudden the pace left it in.
That's some heavy topspin to bring that ball back down. That time it does indeed go long. Dallas able to side out.
Yeah, I like Alshon taking his chances once they get to the kitchen line. Doesn't necessarily need to drive that hard from the baseline, though.
Backhand flick winner for Alshon.
Yeah, his hashtag is the Tweener King, but he also does Ernie's as well.
Alshon just an all-around player, right?
All around, you know, he's got a lot of tricks in the bag. You see there, that ball clips the tape, but had a lot of topspin on it.
Stepped in to speed it up, popped up for a put away for DeVilliers.
I like the aggression, but I also love the calmness and poise from DeVilliers there with that ball off the tape.
Kawamoto speeding it up into the body. DeVilliers been tagged multiple times in this match.
That is just high-level shot by Kawamoto there. To fool a player like de Villiers and tag him in the chest is incredible.
De Villiers, Ernie backhand winner, point Dallas.
Yeah, and he did something really subtle to set it up. You see here, he hits the dink, he fades to his right, and then plants and jumps back left.
8-9. Counter from de Villiers gets it tied at 9-all.
And with this type of play, if you go to the same spot twice, these players are keen. They will see it, and it'll be tough to find space there.
Smith in the right place at the right time as Dallas takes a 10-9 lead.
Alshon with a half volley there. Did not work out. Smith all on top of that.
Third time's the charm for Alshon, tags de Villiers for a point.
That's incredible defense from Smith to fend off 2 or 3 overheads here from Alshon, but that last one misdirect, tough for de Villiers.
De Villiers moving backwards, can't make the pickup. We head to the end change with DC up 11-10.
Yeah, and de Villiers went for the Ernie there at the end, and it caught him out of position. Kawamoto just dropped it right in front of him. It's hard for him to recover.
Dallas Pickleball Club looking to get on the board here in this final match on Grandstand Court today. Dropped their first match to the Chicago Slice. DC Pickleball team, meanwhile, picking up their win over the Utah Black Diamonds. Maybe a bit of a surprise. You would have figured, given the lineup of the Black Diamonds, they would have been the favorite in Group B coming into this tournament.
Absolutely, and anytime you have Annalie Waters, undisputed, the #1 female in the world, you kind of have this expectation that your team's going to find a way to win. So kudos to Dallas Pickleball Club getting a win there. But what they need to do to get themselves back in this matchup is they've got to find some energy. De Villiers and Smith are 2 of the most high-energy players in pickleball. You hear them yelling. You hear them getting the crowd fired up. We've heard none of that so far in this matchup, and they're going to need that extra edge if they want to come out on top.
DC putting everyone on notice with that win over Utah, trying to make it a 2-win day. Smith in the right spot, but pushed it long.
Yeah, she was all over that ball, but tried to put a little too much pace and pop on that.
12-10. Counter from Smith, kisses the line.
And she missed the first volley, the previous volley with the forehand, but this backhand one was extremely inside the court.
ATP, Alshon took something off, waited for Smith to run by. Man, that's just nasty.
I mean, this was such a casual ATP from him. He saw it so early and curved it, and Smith even hopped over it.
Hashtag casual ATP. And lob just spins wide.
Yeah, Kawamoto does a really good job disguising that lob. She knew as soon as she hit that off the bounce, it's going to go wide.
De Villiers targeting that hip of Kawamoto. And for all that it's felt like DC has been in control, this one is still tied at 13-all.
And I think I heard De Villiers say, come on, so maybe some energy flowing.
Well, that will certainly help bring up the energy as Alshon misses the forehand.
Tried to do a little too much on that forehand. He was in position. He had Dallas Pickleball Club back at the baseline. Not able to convert.
Kawamoto the counter, tied at 14.
She had a look in her eye in that rally as if she was going to find a little crease.
Alshon steps in, forehand winner.
Perfectly executed play right there by him. He started with the pressure on the Villiers side, opened up the corner, and then finished on Smith's side.
15-14. Kawamoto trying to speed it up. Uncharacteristic error off the forehand side.
She had everything she wanted there, just trying to manage how much spin she needed on that ball. Didn't get it over.
De Villiers comes up short on the backhand. Trading points here on Grandstand Court as we are getting ever closer to that magic number 21. It's 16-15 in favor of DC already with a 2-game lead. Forehand winner, Alshon, but in the middle of that rally, was that like a half frac there from Kawamoto?
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, she's got creative with some of these shots, but she's using her angles well to open up some avenues for their team.
And replay really showed how well Kawamoto set up Newman for that forehand winner. De Villiers gets the overhead put away, and a come on as Dallas gets another point.
Incredible reset in the middle of that by Alshon, but really good focus by De Villiers to not be phased and continue adding pressure in that rally.
16-17, Dallas back on serve. That point set up by the nice deep third ball. Dallas playing on their heels the entire point.
Yep, anytime you can have a deep third there, it makes it really tough for the other team to get back up to the kitchen line.
18-16, DC within 3 points of taking the game and by extension the match. Kawamoto might have hit an out ball, didn't matter, able to find the court.
And I can assure you that Kawamoto loves this pattern here, the cross-court dinking over and over. She's able to manipulate the positioning, and that opened the door for an opportunity.
Dallas calls a timeout, trailing 19-16. And you can just see the body language right now for Dallas and the way that Smith turned to call that timeout. a little deflated. They've had to work so hard to even stay close to DC, but haven't been able to quite close that margin.
I got to say, Doran, I don't like it right now. I think for Dallas Pickleball Club, they are, not feeling as things are going their way, but sometimes you can feel that the lead is bigger than it is. This is only 3 points. Sure, you're down 2-0, but if you win this game, you've got an opportunity to continue. And so I'd like to see them come out and, really just go out on your sword. Fight as hard as possible, be a little bit aggressive. It's easier to say in the booth, I'll say, because when you're out there, there aren't as many opportunities, but maybe they utilize a lob. Maybe they switch sides. You've got to find something, because if not, your team is in jeopardy of losing this matchup.
What would you like to see Dallas try coming out of this timeout?
I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. No, I think I would just like to see de Villiers be a little more aggressive.
And de Villiers trying to make something happen, but catches the net.
Yeah, and specifically, if we can get Callie Smith to dink straight ahead, that'll force that cross-court dink to de Villiers, and then he's got to take the right opportunities there.
Point game as Alshon finds the corner for the winner. DC takes it 21-16. They take the match by virtue of the 3 games. We will play the 4th for points. So one more mixed doubles match coming up. But Brandon, what impressed you the most about the pair of Kawamoto and Alshon?
Well, I think Kawamoto, we knew she would come in and play consistent. They've been on the rise. I talked to them before this entire match. I said, aren't you all tired of hearing about how underrated you are with all of these wins? They said, yeah, listen, we're not underrated anymore. So not surprised on that part. But what I love to see, Christian Alshon, the poise that he played with, especially in this mixed doubles matchup, he seemingly took all of the right opportunities, didn't get outside of himself, and allowed Kawamoto to play her game, and that resulted in a win for them.
Well, coming up next in this final mixed doubles matchup, James Ignatowicz, Elise Jones going up against Jade Kawamoto and Riley Newman. And we saw in the men's doubles match, Ignatowicz, Riley Newman, 2 of the more talkative players, shall we say, on tour. We saw them going at it a little bit. You expect to see more of that here in this mixed doubles match?
Oh, absolutely. There's some people that are watching this match that may think it's over, right? It's already 3-0. These teams aren't playing for anything. I can assure you that they do. We had some scenarios in the challenger situation earlier where teams were, they had the same record as another team, but they lost out of the playoffs just by a few percentage points. So every point truly matters. And then this scenario, even if all of that wasn't there, Riley Newman cares a lot every time he steps on the court. He wants to prove he's the best player, and he wants to let his opponents know about it. So if you don't think there's a game within a game between Ignatowicz and Riley Newman, you're in for a treat right now.
At challenger level, coming in that Group B play, it was a 2-1 New York Hustlers and a 2-1 New Jersey Fives. They couldn't play each other in the playoffs because they came out of the same group, and those two kept somebody else out. And so they split. New Jersey Fives came in, beat California BLQK Bears, who are the 3 seed, nearly knocked off the Las Vegas Night Owls. That match was just before us here on Grandstand Court. It went to a dream breaker. And so, to your point, anything can happen, especially in the rally scoring.
Yeah, you're right, and I think that, shout out to the Milwaukee Mashers, DJ Young, Pesa Teone. Unfortunately, it was them. They just lost out on the point differential and weren't able to make it. But that's how crucial every single game and every single point is in these type of matchups.
That's what you want to see out of Major League Pickleball, though. This is supposed to be the best of the best, and the margins are that slim. And at the challenger level, everyone playing not just for pride, not just for money, but they want to move up to the premier level. There are only so many spots to go around.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone's always watching, right? Just because, just because maybe there's not a specific fan watching this entire game, trust me, they're going online. They're watching the YouTube.
Probably more people on Twitter, let's be honest, or X, whatever you call it now.
Absolutely, they're there. So every player is playing for their namesake out here, their brand out here. It's so much bigger than just this entire game, which is awesome to see because all of that together gives us great pickleball, and it gives us something to talk about, Dorian.
As if we haven't had enough to talk about today with the quality of these matches here on Grandstand Court. We are getting ready for the final mixed doubles. Newman getting the first point, tagging Jones.
Yeah, you know, I think we're going to see that.
Sounds so resigned.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see that a lot in this matchup here.
That's a nice inside-out forehand from Ignatowicz.
Yeah, hey, listen, like I said, these players have things to play for, and I think Ignatowicz and Newman want to prove to each other something right here.
Ignatowicz just a little bit too much. I would like to see a dream breaker, just we won't see it, I know, but just to see Ignatowicz and Newman go at each other in singles.
Breaking news, we're going to a 5th game because Dorian is requiring
I said so, yeah.
a dream breaker.
Well, let's be honest, it would be fun to watch. You know it would.
Absolutely it would.
Another point for Dallas.
Yeah, early on I'll be looking to see which team is bringing a little bit energy here. Right, this is the last game of the day. Could be easy to kind of let off the gas here.
Jones can't come up with the backhand, and another point for DC.
Newman very tricky on that left side. Did a great job jamming up Jones. Oh, and the tumble there by Jones.
I mean, Jones does come from that volleyball background. She was a libero in college. You only learn that kind of tuck and roll on a volleyball court.
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying, ooh, she was already on her way up. That was a pretty quick
Completely
move.
unfazed. Another point for DC. She was an all-conference defensive libero, I should also mention.
I believe it. That's really good misdirect by Jones, knowing that she wasn't going to get the winner, but it's going to open an opportunity for Ignatowicz to finish the play.
Newman trying to step over, ends up committing the error. 5-5. Jones able to catch Kawamoto a little bit behind the kitchen line. Scramble mode pays off for Dallas.
Yeah, it does. I mean, great fight by them as Newman had his 3rd lob in a row land in.
No need to lob that if you can put it away.
I agree, and he's taken the challenge straight ahead, saying, I'm going to go at Elise Jones as much as possible because I feel like I'm favored in that matchup.
You can't be surprised in that strategy, though, in this matchup.
No, not at all. I mean, Newman at 6'4" almost.
Jones with the forehand air. You have Newman and Ignatowicz on each side, some of the taller players on tour as well. Newman almost 6'4", Ignatowicz a shade over 6'2". That's a nice backhand flick. Ignatowicz stepping in for the point.
And I think Newman, you know, Kawamoto with the decision there to go down the line. She saw an opening, but kind of half hit it, and it gave Ignatowicz an opening.
Newman rolling it over the top of Jones for the point.
I mean, he's got a lot of tricks in his bag, so we're going to see the full arsenal here.
8-7 DC.
Jones trying to redirect a volley, which is one of the tougher things to do. You've got to absorb the pace and then also angle it.
Jones trying to counter.
Yeah, and I think that ball landed in.
I think you are correct. It was close. No signal, though, from DC, so it is point Dallas.
Jones with some incredible defense, but continues to try to redirect outside of her body, which is a tall task.
Newman continuing to fire away at the feet, and that sends us into the changeover with DC up 11-8. The men over 6 feet tall, some of the taller players on tour. Elise Jones only 5'2", so she's not only dealing with the power and the heavy balls of Newman, but also giving up a lot of size there at the kitchen line.
There's a reason why we've seen 3 lobs already from Riley Newman. He's come into this with a game plan. They want to go vertical above Elise Jones. When he can't go vertical, they want to go directly at her and force the pace, because he feels like he has the advantage in a hands battle exchange, even if the initial opportunity isn't the right one.
For all that DC has felt like they are in control of this game, it's been tight throughout. This has been the largest margin for DC Pickleball team, only 3 points, so Dallas still very much in this game. How do they find some momentum and some energy? Ignatowicz, not an energetic player at this point in time.
Right, and what's happening is the DC Pickleball team is funneling a lot of the balls to Elise Jones, and they're almost freezing out Ignatowicz from this game. So he's going to have to overextend some to grab some balls outside of his area, which will open up the back door.
Are you kidding, Kawamoto? Inside out forehand. Ignatowicz has been able to find some court with those.
Yeah, and it looks like he's moving his feet a lot right now. It's like he's ready to finish strong in this matchup. Let's see the court coverage that he has.
Jones not able to make the dig. Coming out of that side playing mixed, he's taking up 70% of the court as it is. Would you like to see him extend that to 80?
Yeah, I mean, when they're targeting one player on your side and it's working to the other team's advantage, you've got to do all you can to redirect that.
Ernie from Newman right into the body of Jones.
Yeah, and as you see here, this is a great Ernie by Newman, but traditionally what Jones could do is just go down the line to help redirect cross court. But the challenge with that is the Ernie, as we just saw.
Backhand roll winner for Kawamoto. Everything going the way of DC Pickleball team.
Yeah, it was just it's great focus, because that ball hit the net and she had to readjust. I think Dallas Pickleball Club is deciding if they want a timeout here, and they take it.
DPC will take a timeout, trailing by 5 here in this finals mixed doubles match. Newman and Kawamoto starting to pull away here. It was close at the end change, 11-8. Now it's 15-10. So DC really starting to assert their will. Who have you been more impressed with in this particular matchup, Newman or Kawamoto?
Oh, man, that's a tough one. I think equally they both have been playing well. I may give the edge to Newman because I think he is not overextending as much as he typically does in mixed doubles, which means he respects the play of Kawamoto tremendously. I mean, this is a guy that usually will cover 99% of the court. There's sometimes you see him in I formation with his sister playing, you know, going viral on the internet. He's not doing that now. He's kind of respecting that and also covering his side. And that's what's making it tough for Jones to find any area on the left side of Newman because he's typically staying home for most of the play.
So we're not going to see a split via run.
I don't think so.
Oh, out of the timeout winner, DC. It's ridiculous at this point.
Listen, if Riley Newman's hitting that type of shot for a winner, it'll be a long night.
Little miscommunication between Kawamoto and Newman.
Kawamoto smelled blood and came in there, but just takes a whiff at the ball and it throws off the concentration of Newman.
One of the few things that hasn't gone the way of DC. Forehand push winner from Newman, and DC really patting that lead now.
Yeah, Ignatowicz drove the first two balls. I'd like to see him go try to attack that last ball. He's got to go to overdrive here to give his team a chance in this game.
Kawamoto forehand into the net.
Yeah, and that's the play I want to see is you see Ignatowicz come all the way to the right side to speed this ball up. Look, he's all the way in the second quadrant there.
Newman into the body of Jones. Couldn't quite come up with it. Lead extended back out to 6.
Not much can go wrong right now for DC Pickleball team.
And Kawamoto slices it wide.
And that's something we haven't seen early in this game. Is I talked about Newman, I apologize, Dorian, extending more throughout the court. And in that case, it produced an error.
Ignatowicz cannot believe it.
Yeah, hey, look, if it was a ping pong paddle, it would have grabbed. Doesn't necessarily happen right there on the pickleball paddle.
Off the edge guard from Kawamoto, and it is game point for DC.
DC looking for the clean sweep here. Let's see if we have any resistance from the Dallas Pickleball Club.
Ignatowicz puts the forehand in the net, and that will do it as DC takes all 4 games from the Dallas Pickleball Club. They end day 1 of Group B play 2-0. Dallas falls to 0-2. Brandon, your thoughts?
I mean, the DC Pickleball Club, they're for real. We know that they've gotten a win against the Utah Diamonds earlier in the day, and this is a very impressive win to come out here and get 4 straight games against the Dallas Pickleball Club. So I'm impressed, and I'm looking forward to seeing how far this team can go.
DC putting the rest of the Premier League on notice today. They will have one more group play match tomorrow before moving into the playoffs. We hope you will join us then. Play starts on Grandstand Court here tomorrow at 10 a.m. Brandon and I will be with you again. So for Brandon Enzikpong, I'm Dorian Kraft saying so long for tonight. Thank you for being with us here on day 2 of season 2 of the MLP presented by Margaritaville. Have a great night. We will see you right back here tomorrow morning.